What's going on, Pixel Hackers? Christian here from PixlFeed, and in this video I'm going to explain the different types of campaign objectives you can create for your Facebook ad campaigns when using Facebook Business Manager. Choosing the wrong type of campaign at the beginning can end up costing you a lot of money and not getting you the results you need. And with 11 different types of Facebook ad campaign objectives, along with well over 128 optimization combinations, it can be a bit overwhelming as well. So let's go to my desktop where I can explain each Facebook ad campaign objective to you. But before we do that, make sure to hit the like button, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell for notifications of new content coming your way weekly. And now that that's done, let's roll the clip. Now that we're inside of one of my ad accounts, let's click the create button. And when you hit create, if it's the first time, it's going to give you the option between guided creation and quick creation. The first thing you're going to see right here is the special ad category. It's very important that if you're doing any type of campaign related to credit, employment, or housing, that you check this box right here, because they want you to accept the terms and they want you to know that you need to follow the rules when it comes to equal opportunity, employment, housing, or credit. Okay, so let's get into the types of marketing objectives or the type of campaigns. So we have our options right here, and you're gonna have brand awareness, reach, traffic, engagement, app installs, video views, lead generation, messages, conversions, catalog sales, and store traffic. Okay, so I'm going to explain each one of them and how I use them for myself and my clients. And just so you know, when you're here, you can hover right here, and if you click learn more, it will break it down for you. Okay, but I'm going to explain it my way. So brand awareness. Brand awareness is for campaigns where you want to run a campaign, and if you want to find out if people recall your brand, if they remember your brand. So if you're doing a campaign, a big campaign, and you want to see if people are paying attention, if they remember your brand a few weeks later, or a couple of days later, or a couple of weeks later, you run a brand awareness campaign. And what happens is, I'm sure you've seen it, or maybe you haven't, you'll be on your feed on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and a little thing at the top is going to appear and says, hey, do you remember seeing an ad for this brand? That's a brand awareness campaign. Okay, I don't really use it too much, but you know, if you're running, you know, an account like Pepsi or Coca-Cola, which I'm going to use for the next example, it's something that you can use, right? So then you have your reach campaigns. Reach campaigns, it's pretty self-explanatory. Is, you know, let's see how many people we can reach for the less amount of money. So what Facebook is going to do is going to push your ads to as many people as possible under your targeting for the cheapest cost possible. So basically, reach is, again, for a company like big companies like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever. I'm using those because they're huge and everybody knows them. You know, they just want to put their logo out there, and it's all about branding, and they just want to reach as many possible people as many people as possible. So they just want to get in front of them. They just want their logo on their face anywhere they go for the less amount of money. Traffic. Okay, traffic is going to be your clickers. Anybody who's a clicker who just clicks on anything and everything that appears inside their feed or articles or whatever. So traffic you're going to use for websites like blogs, or if you're doing, you know, like if let's say you're the I don't know, Fox News or CNN, and you need to run people to your site, or the Chive or Washington Post. I don't know, I'm just naming stuff top of my head. It's all about that traffic. So these are going to be your clickers. And you know, a way that we use these type of campaigns is, again, if we're running traffic to a blog or a landing page where we just want them to run an article, and we want the most amount of traffic or traffic clicks for the cheapest. Because a lot of ways that people make money with traffic is, if you have a blog, like I said, that depends on how many eyes see that article, you might make money on AdSense on the ad placements inside that article. So if you can get a click for, let's say, you know, half of a cent or a couple of cents, and if that person lands on that page and you make, you know, 10 cents for that person landing on that page, you just make sure that's profit right there. So a lot of people, that's what they use the traffic campaign for. Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, it's probably like a year or two ago, it used to be like, hey, you need to run traffic first
to train your ad account. And when you get 50 hits, and you can move into your conversion campaigns, whether it's, page views, add to carts, and all that stuff, you keep moving over and over and over again. That's not so much the case anymore, because Facebook has gotten really, really good at optimizing to whatever you tell it to do. So if you want traffic, you tell it you want traffic. Okay. Then we have engagement right here. Engagement is going to be anybody who's an engager. These are the people who live on Facebook all day, and they love to comment on anything and everything. They're the ones who are going to hit your reaction little button, happy face, angry face, wow, like. Those are the like buttons, the people who comment on your post. You can use it for event responses. So if you're having an event, you want to bring the engagement up for your event. So that's what an engagement campaign is for. So a way that I use it myself, and we use it for our clients, is that if we're running a conversions campaign, we'll do what's called a stack, where we run an engagement campaign to the same post to bring the comments in and, get that engagement going to knock it up. So Facebook sees the signals that there's a lot of engagement, and Facebook likes that. And if it likes that, your traffic costs are going to be a lot cheaper. So if you're having an event, if you want feedback on a post or a product or anything like that, engagement is going to be your winner. If you have a messenger bot, we use engagement. So we ask something, it's like, what's your favorite topping on a pizza? And people are going to be like, pepperoni. And then the messenger bot sends a message, and then you can get them into your sequence, send them to your funnel, right? So that's another way that engagement is used. App installs, very, very self-explanatory. If you have any type of app, and for iOS, Android, or even Windows or Mac or whatever, this type of campaign is going to optimize for downloads, for app downloads and installs. If you have a game or any type of app. Video views is very important, and I see people that are not using correctly a lot of the times. So video views. If you have a video, so whether it is your podcast or vlog or this YouTube video, if I wanted to run it and I want people to watch it, I would run video views campaign, because with Facebook, you can actually track for how long people watch your videos. So you can see if they watch your video for 3 seconds, 10 seconds, all the way through, which is called a through play, 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100%. So if you want eyeballs on that video, that's when you run a video views campaign. Another way to do it is, I like using video views top of the funnel for branding. This is when nobody knows your product. If you're not a known brand, this is the campaign that you're going to use to get in front of them and to let them know about your product. You're not asking for a conversion, but you're just introducing them to your funnel, so you can later on in the middle and the bottom, get them to convert into a customer, to get your product, client, service, whatever. Another thing that people don't know, from video views, you can actually build what's called custom audiences. And custom audiences it's the amount of data based on the goal that you give it. So I can grab Facebook, make an audience out of the people who view my video for 95% or more, and Facebook will create what's called a custom audience. And then you can create lookalike audiences out of that, and that's how you scale your campaigns. Okay. Lead generation, pretty self-explanatory. Lead generation is for campaigns if you need a lead. So let's say you're a real estate agent, broker, a dentist, plumber, any type of service, right? And you need a lead, anything related to sales. This is a 50-50. I tested immensely lead generation campaigns and done so many of them. And yes, they work. The only problem that I personally have with lead generation campaigns is that the lead is never as good as it is if you use a funnel, which, by the way, I'm including a free download for a lead generation funnel that I use in my business, in the link in the description. So make sure you download that if you're going to run any lead generation campaigns, because there's two things to running a lead generation campaign if you're using a funnel instead of the form that Facebook has built in. When you build a funnel, there's two things that happen. You can keep track of anyone who lands on that funnel, and you can create custom audiences out of that. And if it's a higher ticket product, you can pre-qualify the lead so you can get rid of the tire kickers up front, because you want to get rid of the tire kickers. When you're doing it with Facebook, you can't really do that, and you can't use your pixel even. So you're not keeping track of this traffic. It's inside the Facebook side of things. If you bring them to the funnel, then you can pixelate them, you can retarget them, and keep track of them everywhere they go. So I always recommend go for the funnel, pixelate that traffic, keep track of it, retarget them, and pre-qualify them. So that's your lead generation. Messages, that's a messenger campaign. If you're using a messenger bot, like for example, one of my favorite ones is ManyChat, you can create what's flows. I just explained it on the engagement campaigns. I'm sure you've seen them. I'm sure you've been through them. It can be if you have a restaurant, and again, you can ask your audience, hey, what's your favorite topping in a pizza? And people say pepperoni. And then, once they say pepperoni, they'll send, the messenger bot will kick in as soon as it sees detects the comment. And then you can get them into your sequence where, for example, you can offer them a coupon to come into the establishment and to show them to the cashier. And that's how they can, claim their discount. So that's a simple way of doing a messenger campaign. My favorite, conversions. So conversions is for any objective that you want, whether it's lead. Again, if you're using a lead with a funnel or outside Facebook, you can choose for conversion optimization. You can choose for page views. You can choose for view content, initiate checkout, add to cart, purchase. I mean, that's what you want to go for if you're in e-commerce, or if you have a sales funnel. If you have a lead funnel, you're optimized for leads. If you have anything that's product related or sales, you want to optimize for page views, view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, initiate payment, and purchases. Again, Facebook is very, very good nowadays about optimizing for what you ask it for. So I always start with what I want right off the bat. So if I want purchases in a store, I'm optimizing for purchase right up from the get-go. It's a little bit more expensive at first, but you're bringing in that quality traffic that you want to build up your custom audiences that later on you're going to use to scale your campaigns. Okay, catalog sales. That's if you have a store like on Shopify and you have a built-in catalog, or if you have a real estate website. I keep using real estate, but I dealt with a lot of real estate in the past. You have a catalog of their houses or whatever. So this is what's called a catalog ad. I use them a lot for retargeting. You can use them for cold audience as well, or middle of the funnel. I like to use it for retargeting, and I'm sure all of you have seen it. Whenever you go to a site, you check out a product, and then you come back to your feed on Instagram or Facebook, and then you see a carousel ad with the little squares, right? It's the little squares. And it shows you the exact product that you looked at. And there's something on the ad copy like says, hey, forgot something? Tap the shop now button to get it, free shipping. And it's that exact button. That's how you get the creeper ads. That's called retargeting ad that follows you everywhere. So that's a catalog sales ad. They're very, very effective for retargeting and bottom of the funnel. Store traffic, very self-explanatory. If you have a brick and mortar business and you want to bring people to your store, this type of campaign will actually keep track of whoever comes to your store by using the GPS on their phone. And depending if they use a credit card or something like that, Facebook actually has access to that data, believe it or not. So they'll know if you came into the store and you purchased something, if you walked in. Mostly, I think it's the GPS, but that's it. That's our different types of objectives.
Now that I broke it all down for you and how I use it for myself and our clients, I hope it makes a lot more sense than it previously did, and that it's not as overwhelming and complicated as you may think when launching a new Facebook ad campaign. Click the first link in the description for that free lead gen funnel that I mentioned in the video, and also make sure to check out the others for my top 2 books that give you all the secrets to being successful online. And as you can see, they're always on my reach. Also, don't forget to ask your questions in the comment section below. And once again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.